Good day, everyone. We are now on our first topic in the midterm, which is all about performance evaluation and professional development. So, our expected learning outcomes or our objectives for this topic are the following. First is for you to be able to use terms appropriately. Next is to discuss management tools to increase job effectiveness and development, and to promote two-way communications between the laboratory manager and employee regarding employees' job performance. And the last would be demonstrate skills in communications, feedback, guidance, and so let us skip that one. Okay. So now let us define what is performance evaluation. It is said that performance evaluation is a time-consuming but a very important aspect of laboratory management. However, most employees and managers often dread it. When we say dread it, we mean that employees and managers often stay away from, you know, conducting performance evaluation. So what is performance evaluation? Performance evaluation is defined as a formal and productive procedure to measure an employee's work and results based on their job responsibilities. It is also used to gauge the amount of value that employees add to the overall value of an organization or of an institution. So, what are the purposes of conducting a performance evaluation? So performance evaluation is said to be an integrated platform for both the employees and the employer to attain common good ground on what both think is befitting a quality performance, which means it is a venue for improvement for both on the part of the employees as well as the employer. This helps in improving communication, which usually leads to better and more accurate team metrics and thus improved performance results. The goal of this entire process of performance evaluation is to improve the way a team or an organization functions in order to achieve higher levels of customer satisfaction. Performance evaluation lets an employee understand where thus he or she stands as compared to others in the organization. Now we have the different management tools for painless performance evaluation and performance. But first, let us discuss what is performance development. Performance development is the ongoing two-way process between supervisor and employee of communicating and clarifying um, possession responsibilities, priorities, and performance expectations to guarantee mutual understanding and to enhance effectiveness in achieving the mission and goals of such institution or organization. Your performance development involves the following processes. First, you have goal setting. Next, you have feedback or feedbacking. You also have guidance, evaluation, that's motivation. Next would be evaluation. And the last would be development planning. Performance development is a process. Okay, we should understand that performance development is a continuous process. It is not an event. Kumbaga, it is not just a one-time big time shot deal. Okay? Again, it is a process. That's why it is called development because there is development. Ga-develop ang performance. Okay? Performance development again is a process. It is an ongoing process. It is not just a one-time big time deal because it involves coaching, feedbacking, and communication. Performance development is primarily a communication tool for clearer understanding. Performance development is the establishing of position-specific critical duties for evaluation. Performance development is establishment and communication of performance standards for each critical duty. Your performance development also requires employee involvement because sino ba ang kailangan i-develop, di ba? Kay sino skills, kay sino um, capabilities ang kailangan i-develop. Definitely iya ka employees. Your performance development provides for employee development, and it may involve information from other supervisors, peers, as well as customers. So we have different, or we have the 5 essentials of effective performance development. First essential is align performance development with objectives. Number two essential, ensure managers are equipped to succeed in the new era of continuous performance conversations and coaching. Third, fully leverage of performance development technology. Fifth, sorry. Fourth would be expand performance development to teams and hold individuals accountable for their performance in teams. And fifth would be continue to evolve your performance development approach through employee feedback and measurement. So we have the different responsibilities. If you are a supervisor, your responsibility is for the continuous coaching and feedbacking. As a supervisor, you also have to establish and communicate job responsibilities, performance standards, as well as priorities and expectations. Monitor and document staff members' performance. Help identify skills and abilities of staff members for improved performance. Remove barriers for good performance, and to accept responsibility for being a dynamic supervisor. If you are an employee, your responsibilities are the following. First is participate in identifying and defining job responsibilities and performance standards. Provide and receive feedback in a constructive manner, which means that if you are being evaluated by your supervisor, and if your supervisor finds out something that needs to be improved, then you as an employee, you have to make sure that you take it constructively, okay, because it is for your own good. That is the reason why you are being evaluated, so that you have a room for improvement. You can still improve your job. Also, accept responsibility for personal growth and assess strengths and areas for improvement. Now let us proceed with the different management types that are being employed or that are most commonly employed in an organization. First is you have your task or production management. Under your task or production management, this tends to create situations in which the individual feels submissive, passive, and dependent. The management does not encourage individuals to use the abilities they believe to be important or develop them. Activities are not aimed at the individual's needs, but rather at the manager and organizations, thus creating frustrations, resentment, and underproduction. So under your task or production management, this is somehow, we can somehow say that this is the negative type of management, because the focus of this type of management style is that it focuses more on um, the managers or the organization rather than the employee. Kumbaga, ang employee kaka-left behind. Ang employee naga-submit lang sa kung ano ang gusto sa iyang employer, and that the employee is not supported, kumbaga, on on developing his or her individual capabilities. Under your task of production management, the employee feels left behind. The employee is like a robot na kung ano lang ang ginahambal sa management, amo lang na ang patihon niya. Okay? While in the other type of management style, which is the collaborative management, it incorporates the belief that individuals participate in this type of management because they feel appreciated and understood. Kumbaga naman niya sa collaborative management, as what the picture depicts, or as what the picture shows, there is a communication, there is receptive communication between the management and the employees. In this type of management style, the employees are given or are being appreciated, and they are being given the opportunity to help the organization in its growth. That's why it is called collaborative management, because the employees are given the task or the responsibility to be a part on the growth of the organization or of the institution. So we have in here, and your collaborative management is built rather around trust in each and every member of the organization or of the. Now we have in here the comparison, or a table comparing the differences between task management and collaborative management. So your task management creates a powerhouse, and that powerhouse that we are referring to is, of course, the employer or the management alone. While in your collaborative management, it creates trust relationship between the employees and the employer or the management. That's why it is called, again, collaborative management, because they collaborate. The employees and the employer collaborate with each other in order to make sure that the institution or the organization grows together. Under your task management, it simply identifies the problem, while in your collaborative management, it defines solutions to the problems being identified. Your task management provides plan for employee. That's why, again, task management, because the employees are simply given tasks to perform. Okay? As I've mentioned a while ago, kumbaga, under your task management, the employees are like robots nga ginahambalan lang sa employer nila kung ano ang dapat nila obrahon, and that they are not allowed to do something that is not being told them to do so. Kumbaga, the employees are not allowed to deviate from the tasks or the duties nga ginapaubra sa ila sa management. While in your collaborative management, it develops action plan together. Your employees and your employer or the management develop action plans together. That is why it is built upon trust with each other. Under task management, the employees are being threatened that if you don't do it, if the employee won't or will not do what is being told him or her to do, may consequences. While in your collaborative management, it supports risks taking. Kumbaga, kung ano ang ginapaubra sang management sa employee, the management or the manager or the supervisors or the employers take man da sila responsibility, hindi lang kay ginapasa lang nila ang tanan nga basol sa ilang nga employee kung may palpak man nga matabo. Under task management, it oversees punishment or reward. Punishment kung wala ginobra sa employee ang imo nga or kung wala gid obrasang employee ang ginasugo sa iya, and reward kung ang employee nagapati lang na nagapati. While in your collaborative management, it coaches and it does follow up. Kumbaga, after sang ginahambal sang management patihon sang employer, sang employee rather, in that wala lang niya ginasugo, but gina-coach, gina-support sang employer ang iya nga employees kung ano ang dapat obrahon, and there is also follow-ups nga ginaobra. We have in here the basic principles of collaborative management. First is, again, your collaborative management is built around trust. Okay? It is built around trust. Trust is the relationship between employee and manager that requires openness and honesty. Of course, trust is defined or can be defined as reliance on the integrity, strength, ability, or surety of a person or thing. Trust is confidence in the capability of the employees. Also have understanding. You know, individuals perform because they feel understood by manager and understand the problem being encountered. So, understanding is comprehension. Ginaintindi sang management or sang employer kung ano ang kaya kag hindi kaya sang iya nga employees. And kung ma-feel sang employee nga maintindihan siya sang iya nga employer, then that individual or that employee will make sure na maobra niya ang iya nga best based on his or her capability, and that they perform well. You also have independence. So independence, under this basic principle, individuals resent being manipulated, controlled, or persuaded into making a decision, even if that was the decision they would eventually have made. They need the right to make their own decisions. Kay sino ba nga tao ang nanamian nga kay di ba, I guess this is ano no very ano man applicable sa sulod balay, di ba? Kaya ba lang suguon ka mga hugas pinggan, do ginatamad ka na lang maghugas ng pinggan kay ubrahon mo man sa tani, pero I don't know personally, do ka ara ba lang, the more ka nga ginasugo, the more ka nga gakadulaan gana sa pag-ubra sa amo nga bagay kay do it seems like do wala ka nag-initiate. So, independence is a principle that most employees take personally because yes, ubrahon niya ang iyang tasks or iyang responsibilities, pero lang hindi sagay dugay-dugay ka remind. Of course, independence is freedom, it's liberty. So it's a basic principle that most employees, if not all, then most employees really take personally. Next basic principle is solutions. So, solution is an action or process of course, solving a problem. And management should not solve the employees' problems. Rather, the management should support the employees in finding out solutions on his or own or her own problems. Most employees resent this nga ang iba nga tao ang nagasulbar sa ilang problema. Yes, buligan, but not that other people will solve it for them. Okay? Employees resent this aspect. Rather, the management or the employer should simply point out problems and ask for solutions from the employee. So now let us proceed with the steps recommended to establish an effective relationship for joint problem solving. Again, we can't deviate from trust because this is a prerequisite for collaboration and teamwork. Problem solving. So under problem solving, your manager gains trust by being involved in problem solving with employee. Okay, so again, um, the employer must be very supportive of his or her employees in finding out solutions to the problems identified. You also need to have action plans. Under action plans, the major role of the manager is to listen actively and ask questions. Direct the action planning process toward personal and professional goals as well as business objectives and the implementation of that action plan. So subordinates become committed to plans when they are allowed to have a major role in determining goals and objectives of a plan. After that, you need to have feedbacking. So supervisor must continually seek feedback from subordinates and provide support in order to monitor plan and desired results. Now let us discuss how we can understand people. So managers cannot promote professional development unless they understand people. I guess that is a given fact. They need to be aware of the importance of recognizing differences both in learning and behavioral styles. In understanding people, you need to learn how to learn. So successful managers are distinguished by their ability to adapt and master change within the organization. This affects their jobs and career demands, and it is very important for managers to be aware of their own as well as their subordinates' learning styles and the alternatives made available. Also, in understanding people, you need to keep tension at a minimum level. Individuals have different behavioral styles and process information in different ways, which often creates tension. So, di ba, may mga differences ang mga tao within that organization. But in order to understand your people, you as a manager or you as a supervisor, you need to keep the tension at a minimum level. The collaborative manager must be able to perceive these differences and adapt to them to use employees' abilities most effectively. You also need to have interactive communication skills. So having communication skills is actually the single most important skill which people fail to master both personally and professionally. Again, we wouldn't be able to understand people if we do not know how to communicate, and managers wouldn't be able to understand their employees if they do not know how to communicate very well. So to have an effective interactive communication skills, a manager must have the ability to listen and to identify a person based on his or her image. Listening requires emotional, intellectual, and physical input. Managers who are poor listeners will miss messages and opportunities and could address the wrong problem. We also have image. Image refers to how others see you often, and it often determines how you will be treated. To accomplish image, manager must pay attention to number one, body language. Body language refers to how you walk, how you shake your hands, if you are approachable. Also, your clothing style. Of course, you have to appear neat and professional. And your manager must demonstrate competencies with respect to knowledge, skills, ability regarding the field of expertise. Also, flexibility. This requires recognizing differences and willingness to accommodate individual preferences when appropriate. Your manager must be positive or enthusiastic. That manager must recognize and praise accomplishments frequently. So, di ba, if you as an employee, you feel good when you get an affirmation from your superiors. So, again, your manager must be positive or enthusiastic. And your manager must also pay attention to the tone of the voice. Okay? The exact words said with a different vocal emphasis can have significantly different meanings. So, most often, diri kita nag-encounter misunderstanding or miscommunication with each other because on the tone of our voice or on the tones of our voices. So your manager must pay close attention to the tone of the voice that he or she uses when interacting with the employee. So trust is being built by voice tones by number one, projecting it in a strong and confident resonance, speaking clearly, and demonstrating enthusiasm through the use of pitch, volume, and also you have to build trust with voice tones by never speaking in monotones. Kung magkaroon do ka flat lang si mo, do ka emotionless, do ka NR, or um, the monotone, do ka flat, using a natural rather than put on voice. Kumbaga, you don't sugarcoat. Speaking slowly or rapidly depending on the subject and emphasis desired. Your manager always pay attention to facial expressions. How to develop feedback skills? So most managers do not conduct performance evaluation because they wish to avoid number one, conflict, second, taking responsibility for their evaluation of another person's performance, and third, giving feedback. However, managers must shift focus from feedback skill, or rather, from feedback avoidance in going into feedback skill development. Feedbacking is a very important aspect in order for an organization to grow because paano mabalance ang employees kung ano ang kailangan niya i-improve if the manager will not give feedback after the performance evaluation. So just like sa amon, we are being evaluated by Miss Jem sa amon nga performance. And after that, we do feedbacking. If you notice, there are times sang the face-to-face pata nga nagasulod si Miss Jem and other faculty members kung nagaklase ka mo because that is evaluation. Gina-evaluate kami ni Miss Jem together with another peer so that hindi kumbaga bias, hindi kumbaga one-sided lang ang performance evaluation. So, after that performance evaluation, may feedbacking kami nga ginaubra so that aware kami kung ano ang mga kinahanglan namon i-improve on our skills and on our performance nga ginahatag. We have key elements in preparing for performance evaluation. Of course, you have to observe. You have to review core responsibilities, goals, and accomplishment. You have to assess what are the results of established measurable outcomes. You have to look for the results, whether it is successful or whether it failed. And you have to develop action plan. Performance evaluation and development approach for new age employees. So the primary responsibility of all manager is mentoring and providing opportunities for growth and development of their staff. The performance evaluation is the tool for documenting collaborative plans for development. The process provides opportunity to reflect on the past year and reward the employees for contributions to the organization. And it is said that a well-planned performance development program should provide supervisors and employees with a tool to improve performance and enhance institutional effectiveness.